Welcome back for more practice with Java. So we're in lesson 3, and this was the practice that we made to learn how to concatenate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new class, but in the lesson 3 folder. So you can do this for all of your upcoming projects. So hit that new class button, and we're going to name this practice 3, if I can spell practice right. And I'm going to put P2, part 2, and then click finish. So now you have multiple Java projects or Java classes in the one lesson 3. So what I want you to do is go ahead and go into your practice 3 that you had made already and just copy and paste that same header and then go ahead and do enter after that. So in our program, we're going to do our public static void main string args. And in that, you guys are going to set up a string. I'm going to declare my string variable name to be Jedi and initialize it to be OB1 Kenobi. Next, we're going to set up another string to become a part. I'm just going to name it part. What we're going to do is we're going to say Jedi, which is what our string is set up to be. And we're going to do dot. So whenever you put a dot after something, it calls a different method. So we're going to use the method called substring. You see how it puts in arg0 already? Look what it wants. It wants an int. So Eclipse kind of helps you cheat a little bit. It tells you exactly what it wants. So we're going to put in an int, and I'm going to put in 4. So now what we want to do is not print Jedi, but print part. Okay, so if we run this to see what happens, mine comes back with an error. Let's see what happened. Oh, I put my parentheses on the wrong side of the semicolon. So I'm going to fix that. Now my error's gone, so hit run again. So it printed 1 Kenobi. So what it did, what substring does, is it goes in your string and it starts printing from the 4th spot. Now you might be sitting there thinking the 4th spot, if we start counting, is O is 1, B is 2, I is 3. So it should start printing with the dash, but it does not. The deal is, in computer science, you start counting at 0. So O is 0, B is 1, I is 2, the dash is 3, and W is number 4. So it starts printing at 4 and prints all the rest. So a substring starts at the assigned index. So the index is that number. So here's what it kind of looks like if you want to break it down. So all of these letters are at a location in our string, and the numbers for counting are our index or our indices. So we said start at index 4, so it started with W. If we had said start at index 9, it would have started with E. You can also give it a direct assignment. So instead of just printing everything after starting with an after 4, you could say print from 4 to 10. So it's going to print everything from 4 to the n. So let's go ahead and run it and see. But it stops at the E. So what happens is it prints everything from 4 and then it stops before 10. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is a cool little trick. So you notice that OB1, the O is capitalized, the W is capitalized, and the K is capitalized. So you can actually force it to change that. So we're also going to come down here, we're going to say system.out.println. Instead of doing print line and doing part, we're going to actually print Jedi, but we're going to call the method called toLowerCase. So do Jedi.toLowerCase. And you notice in the suggestions that you need an open and close parenthesis. This is if you're not giving it an assignment. Like in substring, we're telling it exactly where to go. For toLowerCase, we're letting it determine for itself. So put in a semicolon and then hit run. So it still prints our part, but it also changed all of our capitalized letters to lowercase ones. Along the same logic, if there's a print to lowercase, I'm going to copy and paste this because it's easier. There probably is an uppercase. So go ahead and check that and make sure it works. And now we are screaming Obi-Wan Kenobi through our computers because it printed it in all caps. Okay, so I just put in a comment here so we know what we were doing. If you have all of this down here and you don't want to see it every time, you can just hit that little X button and it goes away. It's not really a big deal if you leave your last run open, but sometimes you don't really want to look at it, and that's fine. You could also minimize things here so that you don't have to see it all the time, and then bring it back. So I'm also going to add to my comment block at the top about what each of our program does. And I'm going to do the same in my practice 3. So stick around in your practice 3, not 3 part 2, and we're going to talk a little bit more about concatenation. So I'm going to put together a string, and I'm going to call it donut and how many donuts did you eat. I'm also going to put together an int that I'm going to call sad because I ate 5 donuts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to concatenate string with an int. So we're going to say system out print donut plus sad. So let's go ahead and run that. How many donuts did you eat? 5. So I want a space in between there. So I'm going to do this little trick on my print line and do open quote, space, close quote, plus. And now I have a space in between how many donuts did I eat? 5. So for concatenation, you can concatenate string with numbers. You can also add in spaces. And some of the other methods that we talked about is toUpperCase and toLowerCase. toLowerCase. So don't forget about those that you can do. The next video is going to be very short, and it's just going to be about some of the escape clauses that you guys can use when you're printing strings.